Welcome, everyone. I don't know if I need to start again, but I just will, in case you didn't hear me before. My name is Josefine. I work for ICLEI Local Governments for Sustainability, and I'm very happy to be moderating the session today on urgent innovation wanted, and if we can use AI for carbon neutrality in cities. I am very happy to introduce you to this excellent team of speakers, part of the AI for Cities project. With me is Anja Reimann, who's a project manager on urban innovation at the city of Amsterdam. Then we have Theis and Petersen, who is innovation project manager in the Copenhagen city for properties, financial management and procurement. Theis is with us, unfortunately without a video, but he is here. And then we have, last but not least, Kaisa Sibelius, who is the project coordinator of AI for Cities, working at Virium Helsinki. All right, so welcome everyone. And we have 30 minutes to kind of dive deeper into the topic of procurement, artificial intelligence, and carbon neutrality in cities. Now, really, what inspired this session? Because we are in a project and it's great, and we are kind of really collaborating a lot, and the topic seems quite novel to kind of combine procurement and AI and carbon neutrality. And really the umbrella question inspiring this is, can procurement kind of solve this? Does it make sense to have a PCP connected to innovation in really a time of crisis and in a time of a global climate emergency that calls for this rapid innovation? So I'm really curious to hear from each one of you, and I'll just call on Anja to start. Kind of, what's your underlying kind of approach as Amsterdam? Why is this kind of approach relevant?
Yeah, thank you, Josefine. Yeah, hi everyone. It's nice to be able to speak about what we've been doing so far with AI for Cities. I think it's very relevant that we're doing this because, well, the topic needs, or the challenge that we have at the moment needs new solutions, which are not there yet. And this method, the pre-commercial procurement method that we're using here, makes sense because we want to create a market where there are no solutions yet in the market. So then it makes sense that we use our challenge that we have with the governments and bring that to the market and let them come up with solutions that then is available for everyone to buy in the end. So for us, this is very relevant and also a good method to use for this topic.
Thank you, Anja. Perhaps Theis, what's the kind of what was the starting point for Copenhagen? Why were you kind of keen to engage procurement in this way?
Thanks, Josephine, and hello, everybody. I think from the standpoint of Copenhagen City Properties, whom I represent today, we are the municipal property administrator. And to sort of start from the top, the city of Copenhagen, as many of you probably know, has got this ambitious climate action plan to reach carbon neutrality by 2025. And within this plan, the public buildings plays a significant, or well, a role as well, to say that we are targeted with a 40% energy reduction by 2025 compared to 2010. The municipal buildings are obviously not the largest amount of the city, so one of the other roles for public buildings in this regard is to showcase solutions and be a lighting beacon for the private sector in the city as well. And with this relatively ambitious reduction target of 40%, we realized that conventional means will not get us all the way. We can do a lot with upgrading mechanics, re-insulate roofs and change light bulbs and all of the stuff. But to really sort of get moving, we will need to look into to the future, to say it a little bit popular. So I think innovation in collaboration with companies, was identified as a necessity to be able to at least try and reach that goal that we've got roughly 5 years.
Yeah, it's not a lot of time, is it? Yeah, maybe in a moment I'll get back to you and ask you a bit more why AI, why was that decision made? But I also want to hear from Kaisa, your perspective from Helsinki, kind of why did you choose to tackle carbon neutrality using technology and procurement as a mechanism?
Well, maybe my explanations and reasons are same than other ones. That Helsinki has also started to create and list it and that kind of climate actions and one way to achieve those targets is to learn and find new solutions which can faster perhaps these targets or achieve those targets earlier, or even find the solutions to achieve them, because some of them are just can be only in that kind of good ideas at the moment, and they need to be solved. And Helsinki would like to be carbon neutral by 2035. So we have a little bit more time, but not so much. And to achieve those targets, we have to scale up and have a bigger volumes to do those interventions.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. So bigger volume scaling up, is that also coming from the project's perspective, a reason why so many cities are part of the consortium and kind of collaborating to build solutions?
I hope that everybody wants to achieve as effective solutions and technologies as possible. Now we don't know, but one of our targets and selection criteria is that companies or consortiums can explain and show that how much their solution will reduce those CO2 emissions, and have some kind of, in the beginning, of course, it's more or less like a guess, but anyway, that they have to be convince us that their solution and idea is doable.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, Theis, I really want to ask you again about that. Why artificial intelligence? Why is that of interest? Why is that the next step for Copenhagen and not another approach? Maybe you can elaborate a bit on that.
Yes, definitely. And apologies for I seem to have some issues with connectivity, so bear with me if I suddenly disappear.
Sure.
From the perspective of using AI, it's also a question of what's the logical next step for a building operator in terms of reaching energy savings, so to say. We've spent quite a few years on, first of all, establishing energy monitoring systems, so all of our public buildings' energy consumption are available on a single platform. Following this streamlining of building management systems and logging of information from these systems, so you could imagine pump pressure, temperatures, cubic meters of air moved, engine run times, and so forth. All of this information coming from the management systems. With all of this data that it's impossible to sort of analyze at large scale, artificial intelligence seemed like, at least some concepts of artificial intelligence seemed like a logical next step to begin to consider how can we operate our buildings even more efficiently. And what if we want to look into areas such as detachable consumers in the district heating market, for instance, or looking into flexible energy consumption. I think more power, more calculation power than a human mind or a human analytic can do is needed to realize these potentials.
Right.
So I think that's one of the reasons that's pretty key to this. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Theis. And for you, Anja, can you kind of share Amsterdam's perspective on that? Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a similar issue or challenge, as Kaisa mentioned, with our buildings, to also use artificial intelligence there to manage like the energy usage. But I think one huge opportunity what we're seeing, which actually plays in the mobility but also in the energy challenge of AI for cities, is actually to have all the usage moments in one picture. So you know when is who using what energy, and then connecting it, and to make based on that decisions where we place our infrastructure. Now, for example, charging poles for cars, electric cars, or also for boats, what we also want to do now. And bringing all that, connecting all that with each other, and figuring out how we can get a balance in the grid. So I think that's one huge expectation that we also have from this project, to find like a solution or get one step further in this discussion how we can do that. And I think AI can really help make those decisions in a much smarter way.
And I think also that's interesting now to dive deeper into what is pre-commercial procurement and the novel field of AI for carbon neutrality. I really want to hear your perspective, perhaps starting with Kaisa. Why PCP is suitable here? Why was it interesting to do a PCP that was focused on AI and city sustainability?
Well, maybe the one good reason is that because there is now that there is a data and platforms, and they are more mature and easily to more easily available for the developers, but this is also area that the procurers, the cities, might not know what is available, what is possible, and this is a learning process for both sides. For the companies, they will learn what are the needs of the city, because perhaps cities are a little bit difficult to achieve or contact for normally, and also the cities will get that in, and also new understanding and new knowledge about that what is available in the market or in that technology way. And yes, we are looking for that solutions which are not on the market yet. So that's the idea of the PCP, that it have to be somehow innovative and something totally new. So before it's eligible to this kind of projects, and this is like a negotiation or conversations between these two partners in a PCP.
Yeah, so to have the buyer and potential suppliers come together, I mean the PCP process, it is, in this example of AI for cities, it spans over roughly 3 years, right? So it's quite a long time and a lot of collaboration. And I'm sure if you want to find out more, definitely head to the AI for Cities webpage, everyone in the audience, to really learn more about the different phases that would kind of be too much to dive into now, but perhaps Theis and Anja, or Kaisa, do you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to add that if you are the audience, someone in audience is interested in, so we have tomorrow afternoon at 2:00 Central European Time, we have a webinar, that info webinar about the request for tenders documentation and what's in that, what we are looking for in that call, and that kind of practical thing. So please feel free to join on that webinar tomorrow as well. Oh, sorry.
No worries. It's a good plug. It's good to extend an invitation.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a bit of a bold statement. And I ask Anja and Theis, whoever wants to go first, for an initial response. With this PCP process, I mean, as Kaisa described it, it sounds all great and kind of a good tool to use as public buyers. But isn't it too slow? I mean, what I mentioned at the start, we are in an emergency. We need fast, good solutions now. What's your response?
Excellent question. Yeah, Theis, I can see you, so I'll take the initiative to go right in and answer from my perspective.
Just go ahead, please.
Thanks. Yeah, that is a very good question, because we had it earlier today in the team about it. Procurement is a tool, a very good tool to bring innovation to your city, and ready, usable innovation if you do it well. But you need to choose the right one. And if you need something right now, maybe PCP might not be, the right tool for it if you need something right now. And I think we have two challenges here. We have in the mobility sector and in the energy sector. And I think the mobility sector, what we've seen in different cities, the market is quite mature. So you already have quite good solutions that you actually can buy, you develop a little bit further, and then you have it. I think we still have a question of standardization. Different cities have different standards. We're still trying to figure that out. If you look in the energy challenge, that actually, they're really have it about market creation. There are not so many off-the-shelves good solutions available yet. You need to develop them, go with the companies to have the solutions ready, and then you can buy them. So I think for the energy part, this is really the right tool, because you're looking for a little bit more long-term, because right now there's not that much. If you look in the mobility sector, you need to ask yourself, okay, how do you want to take it a step further in this project? Because actually in Amsterdam, we are already now looking for stuff that we can buy in the term of 1 or 1.5 years, so faster than within this project. So that, I think, are the two sides that you have to consider.
It's interesting that sectoral difference, then, having the mobility sector quite developed with many solutions out there, and I guess coming from a smart city perspective as well, there's a lot already, and the energy sector maybe not so much. Theis, your response?
Yes, I think just to expand on what Anja just mentioned, but also to dive into the comments from Kaisa here, that the need for a procurement process and a development process is also quite key, because while there are some solutions for, as mentioned, we work with buildings and building energy efficiency, and there are some solutions for oh, sorry, my kids are just barging into this room. That's one of the joys of working from home these days. Sorry about that. Our need for development, and this is also to try and answer both questions, in a sense that while we do see some solutions on the market that are interesting to us in terms of using AI to try and lower energy consumption, we have not seen anything that's ready for us to just sort of go and purchase as a large building owner, as a large property owner. So we need this kind of development, and also to tailor-make something that suits our needs as a large building owner. What data sets are available to us? What machinery are we looking into, or what do we actually want to do? And then to touch upon the question of urgency, while realizing that there's not any ready solutions for us to just go take off the shelf. There is, how to say it takes development, and innovation takes time in city administration, and especially in organizations that are so operations focused as we are. We cannot just buy something and then spread it across 2 million square meters of floor space during the course of 6 months. We need a long process for this, for multiple reasons. One is that it needs to be something that works, so we are not sort of harassing our users with half-baked solutions, and excuse my French in this regard. But also that if we want to implement something larger scale, it's quite expensive. So we need to make a proper case to the city administration seniors and financial people, like, we wish to spend X amount of million euros on this, then we need a proper case, and that just takes time to piece together. Thanks.
And in PCP, the idea is also that there is multiple companies or consortiums doing the same thing, or that solving the same problem. So there is an option, different kind of options and choices for the cities as well. That some of them might suit better to the other city, and some to another one. And also in this project we have two domains. The other one is energy, that we have now talk a little bit more, but and then there's that mobility is the other one, and some cities are more interested in that energy and some of those mobility solutions. So it's also varies that between us in the project, that what are those things that are more relevant for the cities. For example, Tallinn, one of our partners, is very interested about the mobility, and Stavanger as well. So they have needs for that kind of solutions.
Right. So within the project, there are also some differences.
Yes.
Where to focus.
And Josefine, what I want to highlight is a very good point that Theis mentioned. I think we discussed it also earlier before. AI for cities, because you work together with other cities, the scale is bigger. It allows you indeed to have a test, and then later on you can make your case to your own city government much better. With maybe if you would have done it by yourself, you wouldn't have had the funds to do the test, and then you don't even have a case to argue with. So I think that's an enormous advantage indeed, to do it together and combine funding and also get funding from the EU for this. So that definitely is a huge advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the factor you're just mentioning is also an important one, right? That with such a PCP process, it needs a significant amount of funding, and here with the European projects that is given, and of course enables all of us to collaborate and engage the companies in a feasible way. One point I want to highlight as well, just kind of looking ahead a bit. I mean, we've been focusing on PCP, but it's not a closed process in that, right? I mean, you mentioned it's more a test bed, it's about collaboration, it's about learning, but what comes after? What comes then? Because we don't have solutions that are then, that can be bought by everyone right away.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but Theis, please, if you have.
Yes, sorry, I think an important part here is for the cities to be awake in this process, and to describe the correct challenges, and to really set the correct assignments to guide these companies in terms of what solutions they are suggesting. I was just about to interrupt you before, Josefine, but I get the chance now that it's not only a sort of a dialogue with the companies, it's also an education of the companies. Because at least from what I've learned participating in this project so far, we get some companies that are really experienced in working with AI when they have access to really streamlined large data sets, such as you could say public procurement data, for instance. When you're talking about the buildings or energy sector, information and specifically data is much more scattered and in different formats. So you really need to talk to these companies and say, okay, this is our reality. We cannot just buy your fancy platform that needs all of the information that we ever had, because it's not available to be crunched like that. So I feel like I'm branching off a little bit here, but the point being that it's a really big assignment for the cities participating in this to describe the correct challenges for this to be efficient.
Anja, do you want to add your perspective on that?
Yeah. Well,
perhaps, one side question: who is involved from Amsterdam in this project? That's, I think, also interesting to know. That's not a one-woman show, right? From Amsterdam.
Yeah, that's true. So we have some time ago we started a chief technology office around our chief technology officer Virium that we have in Amsterdam, and by now we have around 120 people that actually work on all kinds of subjects around innovation. And yeah, so with me, actually, my colleagues from Smart Mobility are working together with me. I have colleagues from the engineering office that are working together with me. So various colleagues. And in the second year now that we are actually going to work together with the companies, the second phase of this project, actually that will become more because it's now much more content related. So I need content related experts that are going to sit down with the companies to figure out what exactly are they going to do. And that's actually something what Theis said. I think that's very nice. Very often the question that the city has is not clear or it's not well made. And then actually you can have a great procurement method, but it won't help you if you don't ask the right question or look for the right thing. So that's actually very important as well to get that right. And you need your team for that. You can't do that alone.
Yeah, so a clear call for the right questions to ask and for the space to explore that with the companies. And Kaisa, perhaps you can outline kind of the envisioned, I guess, next phase after PCP. How does that, or how can that look like ideally?
Well, this is the PCP is a UN instrument, and then they have an other instrument which is called innovative procurement of it's PPA. It's the PPI is the name of that, and it's the following process or following funding instrument, which means that these solutions which have been developed and pilot and shown that well they works and they are reasonable can be applied on that project where the partner cities or those who are involved in it are actually looking for to buy something, make the contract with companies, because unfortunately in PCP this is just an R&D project, so that doesn't end to the procurement, despite of the name of it. But this is a piloting and that kind of reference for the companies that they can show that their solution is good and works as it's been planned.
Thank you, Kaisa. Yeah, before asking a final question to all of you or giving you the space for a last comment, I want to highlight that what Kaisa just outlined is one of the key opportunities for other cities and networks to get involved actually as part of AI for Cities. You can become a preferred partner to the project. Everything is on the website, or you can reach out to me afterwards to learn more. Now, I have a question, but you can also comment something else. How optimistic are you on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being, let's see, to 5 being, yes, it will happen, that at the end of AI for Cities, there will be potential solutions that will meet those ambitious carbon neutrality targets of your cities? What's your current expectation? Theis?
I'll give it a solid 3.8. So I think rather optimistic, because I feel like we've spent quite the amount of energy in asking the right questions or describing the correct challenges, and seeing this as a part of our going forward in some parts of the innovation that we are looking to. So using this as a tool to achieve goals that we, in a sense, already had, and so that provides some hope that we can do something after 2023.
Thank you, Anja.
Yeah, I'll be very positive. I would give it a 5. I mean, the Netherlands is also a little bit, the 100% is only for God. No, so I say 5 because we have because we have a good cooperation between the different cities, and we have a good process, and we are asking the right questions. I'm very positive that we'll have solutions at the end of this project.
Awesome. And Kaisa, I leave the last word as project coordinator to you.
Yeah, of course, I say 5. And because we start, the plan is that we, in the first phase, we will select 40 companies. So, and then reduce that the number of companies and during the process from the second phase, about 20 companies. And then in the last phase where they are piloting the solutions in at least 2 cities, there will be approximately 6 companies. So I'm pretty sure that some of them at least are good, and they will be interested, have an interest from the cities to go further with the usage and development and make the contract as well in the end. So I of course I believe that we will get a good results from here. And yes, as you said, that those other cities who are interested in to follow and also to see that what kinds of solutions are coming up, please contact Josefine, because she's taking care of that preferred partner program to us. So that's, everybody is welcome to join as well.
Thank you, Kaisa. And also thank you, Anja and Theis. I think it was a really interesting conversation and good to connect with you. I think personally, as I mentioned, and as we started this, we are in such an urgent phase for the world and for cities and citizens in the end, that really any type of innovation will be helpful one or the other way. And even if it's just learning more and how to do it better next time. And with that, I'll hand it over to our host, and thank you so much for having us at your great festival.